Hi, gorgeous souls. This is Breaking the Cage Astrology TV. I am Shaman Michelle Espinosa, or Bells. Otherwise, I go by. Wow. We're in this week. I can't believe we're already in October. I mean, just I can't. And it's a solar eclipse. Solar eclipse time in Libra. Buckle down, guys. Buckle down. I am. It's kind of just like the skeletons are falling all up out of the closet, like all up out of the closet. Like you can't keep that door shut. And I don't even mean like in political terms. I mean, just even in our own individual lives. Like I don't even mean like selling someone else out or the secrets, because I do mean like the secrets are coming out of the closet, but I mean like the stuff that you've been holding on to and holding on to and holding on to. It's just like, that's it. It's all coming up. It's all coming up. Whether it's coming up in a good way or vomit coming up. I mean, everything that's been stagnant and holding inside, that's that 12th house releasing. And that has a lot to do with this week itself, along with the energies of the eclipse. Libras. When I tell people all the time, when you have the North Node and the South Node in your sign, that's pretty much your whole world is being shaken. Especially if it's the North Node. But if it's the South Node, it's still being shaken. It's just being shaken in a different way. In a North Node, it's usually you're being rebuilt. And the next eclipse will be a lunar eclipse in Aries. Okay, but that also goes almost just as strong for people who are Leos or Cancers, because you're ruled by the sun and the moon if you're a Leo or a Cancer. So the eclipses for Aries, Libra, Leo, and Cancer, those energies for those people are really off the chain. And especially if they're in your sign, it's like we're rebuilding you. But in general, we're rebuilding this whole flipping world right now. And the amount of skeletons in the closet that are coming out from slowly ticking away to where it just on the political arena, everything's slowly starting to fall out of that closet because it's going to keep on coming, versus in your own individual life. And that's it. That's it. I'm not holding it anymore. No holds bar. We're making the changes. We're doing it now. Da 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 da. And this, of course, has everything to do with relationships, guys. Libra rules judgment, but it also rules harmony and balance. And 90% of the time, Libra, not Libras, Libra is pointing out where that harmony and balance is out of order, where the scale is not in balance. And that's what this is about, forcing us to see the balance. And guys, some of you believe in the spiritual energy, some of you don't. I don't really care. All I know is I got gargoyles all over this energy. Gargoyles are known to be on top of churches. They're supposed to be guardians and protectors. But another thing is guardians, not guardians, well, they are guardians, but gargoyles are also said to lean or lend you their eyes, in the sense of helping you to see through to the truth. And you're going to have a lot of that going on right now, because you've got a lot of people in our lives, in many people's lives, that are still starting to really realize just who is in their lives, because their true colors, the masquerade masks, are coming off, and people are really starting to be like, wow. And you're going to see a lot more of that as we go through this eclipse and the next one. Because for one, you're talking about a solar eclipse. So this one's the sun, and this is character illumination, relationships, relationship with yourself. Um, the truths are being illuminated, positives or the negatives. It does not matter. The illumination is the illumination, shining the light on it. And one of the things I have to say is a lot of this energy for many people are still learning to understand. I have the right words here. Really still learning to understand the difference of finding pleasure in your life, not sexual pleasure. I mean, just being happy, enjoying, having pleasure in your life, achieving that goal versus desire versus despair. This is a very fine line. I remember I was talking with Matt just the other day. I was like, it could start off with a desire, something that you want, something you wish to achieve, something that you wish to have to make things better or to help out in some way, because we're still looking outside of ourselves at the three-dimensional world that we're living in. And something that was just a desire to help get to the pleasure can quickly become despair. Like, I need it so desperately. A lot of what's going on in the solar eclipse is depths of soul, depths of really reaching in there, really cleaning out from the inside and finding those shiny crystalline energies that are in you, cleaning them up so that they can glow again, redefining it, changing who we are, but not changing it. It's just polishing up who we already were, but somehow didn't know. And realizing where we've turned pleasure into despair. And that's why the manifestation is going wrong for many. Now, like I said, it's a solar eclipse coming in. Not to mention, and Libra is a loaded base right now. I'm going to go through that in a minute because there's just so many planets or energies in Libra. But we're also talking about it being the universal 7th house, which is your relationship zone. Takes place on Wednesday, October 2nd. It's a new moon, new beginnings. And I can't make this up. It also happens during Rosh Hashanah. It's a Jewish holiday for the Jewish New Year. They go through a whole spew. If you're, for those who are Jewish, please forgive me. I'm just going to speed this up because a lot of people are not. And I'm just throwing some of the facts in here. So please forgive me. I'm not trying to make the holiday sound unjustified. But it's the Jewish New Year. There's main points to it, but the three that I'm really picking out is Judgment Day. You know, where basically Judgment Day, it's supposed to be God's viewing and judging of how you were for the last year and what that next year will look like because of what your last year has been. So a lot of this has to do with reflection. And I was saying before the eclipse came in, I was saying months ago, you're coming into just mirrors, 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 reflection, reflection, mirroring energies. Okay? Solar eclipse illuminating character. That's who it's definitely in opposition with. Your character in the relationships of who you are and what your responsibility is to them or of them, in them. Rosh Hashanah, Jewish New Year, new moon, new beginning, eclipse, solar eclipse, new beginning. Can't make this stuff up. Day of introspection. 10 days of reflection. Again, mirroring. 10 days of really taking in. Like I said, this is a time of get some shit done, because you've also got Pluto, who's only going to be back in Capricorn until November, I think, 18th. And then it moves into Aquarius for its permanent home until 2048 or 43. That's a long ways. So this is that Pluto's energy going back over the last 300 years of looking at a reflection of what has to change, but we couldn't get it through our head. We weren't learning how to change it. Pluto in Capricorn is the outer world, showing the outer world that we can be both our our soul governing energies inside and out. That what we create inside is ultimately what we also have outside. And that can be a mind fuck, because when you really start to get into that, there goes the gargoyles again. There's so much deep, raw, depth, raw, gut, soul energy of our soul truths in this. Introspection for 10 days is repenting, has everything to do with the Rosh Hashanah, day of introspection, and then time to recreate. This is what we're doing across the whole freaking world, the nation, everything. We've been saying since before 2020, the world, you knew it was over. But I've been saying at the same time, since before 2020, yes, we are in the age of Aquarius, but it does not feel like it yet, because you still have so much of the age of Piscean to destroy so that we can get to what the age of Aquarius is supposed to be. And we're working on that. This is why, again, skeletons in the closet just falling out. I mean, your average Joe Schmo. I don't know how many times in the last 2 weeks it's the empaths know all about this. Just Joe Schmo, never met you before in my life, just all of a sudden walk up to me, start telling me your whole life story. I'm like, whoa. Just, it's not even telling on yourself, it's just getting it out. It's getting it out. And some of this is going to be aggressive energy. I mean, it is across from Aries. So, of finding who that true character is, aggressively pushing us into getting us right, pushing us in the right direction, knowing who you are in these relationships, knowing who's in these relationships with you. Are they who you thought they were? Are you who you thought you were? Reflection. It also is speaking to you about birth, death, and rebirth. Not to mention, I'm going to back up again for a minute, because I was told a couple weeks ago, and I brought this up when I went into the first eclipse. Spirit keeps giving me the Romanov family, the last royal dynasty of Russia, and all of the shit that went wrong with that. And look at the way the empire's falling apart and being rebuilt. And that's exactly what it's supposed to be doing. Because we can't have a new world if we keep letting them build it. But I'm being reminded of how the Romanov family got stuck with it all, couldn't pass on the problems because they were the last dynasty. Speaking to you of being blamed for the corruption that you're going to start seeing come out even more, famine, war, poverty, which was the fall of the empire. Not to mention the mystic Rasputin, that was being brought up with it, and the insidious and debauched influences, morally harmful influences. This is important here because we create our own reality, and we are all the shaman. We are all the psychic. We are all the medium. We are all the empath. We are all of it. It just depends on how much of your gifts have you opened and researched and learned how to grow in. But Rasputin was like a self-taught mystic, and he was known for his insidious behavior, which is morally harmful, slowly building up over time to become very damaging stuff. And we all had things in our life that we've been taught, routines that we still follow, many of us, especially in the three-dimensional idea, not 4D or 5D, that we still follow. And that hive mind mentality of where that insidious behavior is still taking place. So this is reminding you, watch how much you're getting into it. Watch how much you're playing in that game, in that three-dimensional world of what can still ultimately, in the long run, slowly stain and destroy you. Because this is not the direction we're trying to go. This is why I'm being given the gargoyles. Help you see through the truth, which is the distractions keeping you from truly coming back into your power and understanding who you are. This is just exposure, exposure, exposure from the smallest little level of I can't take no more and I need to share it with somebody to slowly the big political things coming out, which is what we want. This is how we're going to ultimately shift and change through this. But like I was saying too, you have that Pluto energy, which is dropped back into Capricorn. And it's only got until that November 18th, more or less, to make shit stick. To really get stuck in the old ways of things and try to push it out on the society, and that's what they're going to try to keep you with, versus no, we're going to change the society and we're going to see it continue to change. So this is not a time to slack, but this is also a time to be the hermit and really go inward, really do that reflection. You have the moon that's going to be moving this week through Libra, obviously. It's the main portion of this week. We're starting it off in Virgo, then we're going into Libra, then we're going to have that solar eclipse. And this is taking place on the 1st of the 2nd when the moon is in Libra. And then we're ending the week with it in Scorpio. Birth, death, rebirth, transformation, much. This is also a week where I just see Poseidon tidal wave energy. And I'm not making a joke or throwing that out with the hurricane everybody's been talking about that had been coming through in Florida. I'm literally saying you've got a grand trine of all water energy. And it's not bad. A grand trine is a good thing. But I'm just seeing the over-empowering, overwhelming, emotional. But it's important for us to go through that to get to the other side. It's kind of like what I've always said. I've said a lot of times, in order to truly do your work and go through your shadow work, it's kind of like the end of the Shawshank Redemption movie. You had to travel through a river of shit in order to come out clean on the other side. That's part of what this is. It's just, shadow works just never fucking ends. I'm sorry, but it doesn't. But you have some super, super powerful, unpredictable energies this week, which is one of those free wills. It's up to you what you're going to do with that energy. You can take it and intelligently, come into a higher place of sovereign energy within yourself, inner peace, inner knowing, inner strength. Or you can hide in that universal 12th house of grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet and keep trying to shove more in there. But that's not going to work. Unpredictable energies all week going over to that Libra energy. Not just during the eclipse or before the eclipse, but all week. Okay? Saturn is in that 12th house. Grief, sorrow, shame, blame, skeletons in the closet, bitterness, court cases, custody cases, uh, just things all along that line. Deception. Pisces is a whole lot of fantasy smacks you in the face with harsh reality because that's Neptune. But Neptune's here. It's just Pisces and Neptune. Neptune and Saturn are not near each other, but Neptune still rules Pisces and it's still here. Pisces is mysterious and curious, but it also is gullible and easy to take advantage of. I don't mean it in a bad way. I'm not trying to put any Pisces people down, but you guys have a big heart and you love so much that you'll also love the asshole who will come home and rob you blind because you still want to believe that they're going to be a better person than they are when you knew better. We're looking at that energy with Saturn. Rules, walls, boundaries. What do we have to change here to heal? What do we have to correct to heal? What do we have to move the structuring of those rules, those walls, those boundaries from what we've always known, from the way we've always done it? Because what you've always done obviously ain't working in certain areas, at least. And this is speaking directly to relationships. Libra, harmony, balance, relationships. Any and everything you care about, you have a relationship with. If the only thing, maybe you're not in a relationship with anybody. Maybe you don't have many friends. The only relationship you have is with your finances, your roof over your head, your car. I mean, I don't know. I don't know what your life is, but my point is any and everything you care about, you have a relationship with. And let me tell you, it's going to tell you all about that relationship this week and how responsible you are to it and yourself and where you truly stand versus what has been happening as to what you can or cannot do as you change. Saturn's rules, walls, and boundaries says off the bat, there's something here that has to shift because healing is not being made. Otherwise, there wouldn't be anything to heal. So there's old habits, old ideas where we're still comfortable in our uncomfortable zone because it's the only zone we know where we're not addressing our inner power, our inner truth, our inner fire, flame source. Speaking directly with these relationships. Not to mention, I'm going to jump right out of here and into the blueprint in a second because this has a lot to do with your solar plexus, your sacral chakra, and all kinds of, I've just been hearing it left and right, how people are starting to feel it in the body. Like I said, Libra is sending out messages all over for many people. But Libra has this week, not just starting off with that energy taking place unpredictably all week with Saturn and Libra. I say it that way because the sun is there, Mercury is there, Lilith is there, the South Node is there, and on the 1st and 2nd, so is the moon. Full loaded house. Communication, coming into owning your power in the relationship. Talking about Lilith here. The sun taking responsibility for any and all parts of our responsibility illuminating the truth of the relationship and the people involved, who they are. No masks on, no more. All shit's falling out the closet. And then you have, I think Juno's also here. Yeah, Juno, which is also sacrificing commitment. And then the moon, your emotions and your physical body. Now, let me jump over here before I go into any more astrology, just because I wanted to hit hard on that. Libra energy is going to hit hard. First off, Libra is, in general, Libra itself speaks to you about the appendix, the skin, the spine, all liquid processing within the body. It's your urine, it's your blood, anything liquid within the body. It's also your kidneys, lower back, guys. We are talking about the sun being here, Mercury being here, Lilith, Juno, South Node, and the moon. The moon is all of the liquids in the body as well, plus your emotional indifferences. The sun is your heart. So this is your sacral chakra, your solar plexus, speaking with your heart chakra for the Leo, for the sun, illuminating the truth, hitting you in the heart where it hurts, where the truth is, getting to the truth, the heart and soul of that depth of truth with the relationships. And how are they really? You're having lower back pains? It's also speaking to you about lower belly, pelvis, lower back, hips, kidneys, sexual organs, anxiety, stress, emotional traumas, abuse, unhealthy lifestyles within these relationships, pleasure, desire, despair. They merge together really easily. Started off with something I just want until it's need, until it's despair. Or are you able to cipher really the difference of the pleasure and not take it into a place it should never have been? Hips, kidneys, sexual organs, lower back, birth, death, rebirth, emotional pleasure, and rebirth is what this is all about. Finding who we were supposed to be and rekindling that flame, rebirthing on a major way. It's not just a new moon, it's a solar eclipse, Rosh Hashanah, bam, bam, bam. I can't make this shit up. The sun, like I said, is the head itself. It's also the heart and the spine, as well as circulation in general. Mercury is all of the liquids within the body as well as anything you have two arms, two kidneys, anything you have two for communications, the brain, how it works. Then you have the moon. And then we're coming into, like I said, then we're coming into the fact of all of this is the sacral chakra talking about how is your life pleasurable, enjoying? Are you getting what you deserve? Do you feel like you're having to push and shove? Do you feel like it's been taken away from you? Speaking to the heart, speaking to the lower chakras of lower consciousness. Because remember, we have energies in the feet. You also have that Saturn energy, which I was just talking about, which is the feet, the bones, the teeth, and the skin. Saturn is. It's not just the feet. It's the feet right now, especially because that's where Saturn is. But it is the skin in general. Skin irritations. The more you're uncomfortable in relationships, the more you're unsatisfied right now, skin irritations could be coming up. This is the way your body is trying to teach you where we're having problems, blockages we need to correct, where you're holding on to lower vibrational energies, jealousy, greed, me first energy, and feel like nobody's hearing you. Like I said, energy's coming out of the closet. People just stopping you on the side of the road, telling you their whole life story. Teeth and skin. You know what that is, Saturn? Teeth, bones, skin, hair, technically. That is the difference between the inner world and the outer world. That is where it is penetrating into the inner world. That's why it's the rules, the walls, the boundaries, and what healing has to take place in this energy. Everything's going to come down to that Libra energy this week. It's basing off of it in one way or another, other than you have Jupiter and Pluto, which are having a major conversation too. You have Aries is on the eye sockets. You have the North Node. Everything you need to learn in order to move forward is literally on the eye sockets. And when we have heavy, gritty eyes, we're talking about getting into lower vibrational energies of what you're seeing. Sore, swollen eyes. This is really looking at the world from lower perspectives. Or are we seeing it from a different light? You have Chiron is also on the eyes, the wounded healer, seeing others have it, but having a problem getting yourself there. That's not what we don't want to get caught in that, like I said, between pleasure and despair. That's I wish well for them. I don't really want to be jealous. These are the real energies that you're having to face to find the true depths of self as you're looking around you and creating, because that's what this is. We're recreating who we are by finding who we are, accepting it, polishing it, bringing it back into the light, recreating our world as we manifest it by allowing the outside to reflect the inside and acknowledging where that has been reflecting shitty. You have Uranus, your independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom. This is on the nose. The nose knows. Talking about your sinuses acting up, talking about sneezing and stuff like that. This also has a lot to do, sneezing has a lot to do with repelling negative energy, getting rid of it. Sensing your left nose, if your left nostril is stronger than the other, it's connected to the feminine energy, the creative energy, and the psychic energy. But when it's too much, it also will throw you out of balance. You have Mars, which is on the abdominal energies. Venus this week is in Scorpio, but make no mistake, Venus is literally on the gallbladder, the rectum, the colon. I'm sorry. One of the best ways of looking at Scorpio energy, I don't mean to put anybody down, but you're literally talking about all organs that deal with sex and shit. And then the nose, because the nose knows. It all has to do with air you're breathing and transforming for rebirth, for birth, death, and rebirth. All the way full circle. That's what Scorpio is. You have Venus here, touching base on everything that's sensitive outside of you in relationships and the rules to them. But the good thing about that is it can charm its way if it knows how to. But it will also let you know where you're being taken advantage of. Let me get back because I have a lot still to talk about, and I've got only until 40 minutes before this thing shuts off and won't let it play live. So Jupiter all week is having a very powerful conversation. Unpredictable energy, though. Unpredictable energy with Pluto. Again, going back into Capricorn. Really having to see where things have not changed and where you really only have 2 months to make a change, or you better get used to sitting in that boat. This is all about communication and everything that's up close and personal to you, even though it's outside of you. And the authority world around you that's creating it, and you're allowing it to still be part of that creation in your reality. Because you are the ultimate creator. This is all about coming to explore parts of us that we're still afraid to explore because there's so much more. Death, decay, and destruction for renewal, rebirth, regeneration, outer world, speaking directly with the communication of everything up close and personal. Get up close and personal. That's what this is about. The knowledge comes when you do that. Jupiter is also having very unpredictable energies with the North Node and then with Mercury. The North Node is in the first house, Aries, where your next eclipse will be, lunar eclipse, 2 more weeks. Everything you need to learn about who you are and the world and how you're viewing it versus what you should be looking at it from, how you should be seeing it, what is helpful and is service to you versus not, and the communication you're giving yourself. And that communication is in that 7th house. Right there in the Libra energy where the eclipse is coming in. Illuminating, mirroring, smacking us all right in our face. Uranus is having very unpredictable energies with Saturn and Neptune. Independence, individuality, uniqueness, freedom, being in our power, being in the possession of who and what we are. And speaking directly with the rules, laws, and boundaries of how to create the magic by realizing where we've screwed up and given it away. It's time to reclaim. But we have to know where we've done it wrong in order to reclaim. Jupiter and Chiron is getting along great this week, sextiling energy. So this is abundance in the healing if you're doing the work. Abundance in recalling yourself back to yourself, to acknowledging yourself, reclaiming it, knowing. You have Pluto, which is trining the moon and Mercury. I mean, Sun and Mercury and Lilith, and then Lilith in the North Node all week, including during that eclipse. That's a positive energy. That Pluto energy is there to give you the hint of you are everything, inside and out. What you're bringing into this reality, what king or queen are you? Do you not like the kingdom you've created? You have to take on that responsibility of everything that is part of that character, that creation, that soul spark, that source energy, and your connection with it. And how powerful that is. It's there for you to show the world and make the change. But you've got to believe it. You have a grand trine of Mars, Saturn, and Venus. Mars is in Cancer. That's the home and the hearth. That's your inner emotional security with Saturn. 12th house, Venus, 8th house. This is about inner emotional security in your own shoes, no matter where you are. No matter what relationship it is. No matter what the rules are. Why are there rules? If we are in our power, we don't need authority. Unless we're really an ego. And then the bottom of the chart is where things start getting funky. That's where Jupiter starts questioning everybody. That's where Mars starts questioning everybody. And it's all going, and literally Jupiter is questioning Saturn and Neptune. Mars is questioning Chiron, Uranus, the Sun, everybody in Libra. Your inner emotional security and your communication. Everything that's up close and personal. Getting right with heart and soul. And your character. That Aries energy, North Node, and Chiron, the wounded healer. Don't hold on to your wounds. It's time to fly. But you got to know who you are. And you got to be real with who you are. I love you guys. I will see you next week. Bye.